welcome to Wordpath, the show about Oklahoma Indian languages and the people who are working to preserve them. This week we're taking Wordpath on the road. We'll be going to the town of Mill Creek, southeast of Sulphur, Oklahoma, and visiting with Geraldine Greenwood, who teaches the Chickasaw language at several different grade levels in Mill Creek Elementary School and Mill Creek High School. So let's get on down the road. Thank you, Geraldine, for having us here. We're really delighted to be able to come and observe your classes and talk to you about your language preservation efforts.
It certainly is my honor and my pleasure to have you and Brian here today.
Thank you so much.
I want to welcome you wholeheartedly.
Can you start us off by teaching us how do you say hello in Chickasaw?
To say hello in Chickasaw is halito.
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 Good. Thank you. And can you, in case there are people in the audience who don't know where Chickasaw is spoken or where the Chickasaw people live, let's see if we can find things on the map here. Now here is Ada,
Yes.
which is where Chickasaw Nation headquarters
yes.
is, right?
Pontotoc County.
Pontotoc County. And right now we are down southeast of Sulphur in Mill Creek.
In Mill Creek.
What, which is it now in Johnston County, right? Pontotoc and Johnston.
Yes.
And I believe you mentioned one other county?
Carter.
Carter. Where there's a lot of, so that would be kind of
Yes.
this area here,
Yes.
in south, central, and southeastern
Yes.
Oklahoma. That's where the greatest concentration of
Yes,
Chickasaw
the majority of the Chickasaw language speaking people.
Okay. And about how many Chickasaw people do still speak their language?
When this man that was a student at California, he did a study, and there were about 600 speakers.
And are there still children learning to speak Chickasaw?
There are
growing up?
some children learning yet, but as our elders pass on, we are losing a lot of our Chickasaw speakers.
So I guess it becomes more and more important to have it in the schools.
Yes, definitely so.
Bringing people like you into the schools.
Yes.
I know the kids here are very lucky to have you as a teacher.
I'm certainly thankful for House Bill 1017, which provided our language to be taught within the school
So
system.
that gave you an extra impetus to be able to get your
Yes.
language in the schools.
Yes.
Well, yes, thank goodness for that. I understand you have some documentation here that you wanted to quote from 1887 relating to the Chickasaw people and their language. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, I would. The Chickasaw language has lived on the lips and ears of the speakers for, it's no telling how many years, from the very beginning. And it was the trade language up and down the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an honor for the other tribes to learn to speak it and also to do the trading. And there is no written record of the Chickasaw language, which was spoken prior to the removal to the West. And a brief summary of the past history is that the policies of the United States toward Native American languages is well documented. The policy described in 1887 by then Commissioner of Indian Affairs, J.D.C. Adkins, and these were his words: "The instructions of Indians in vernacular is not only in no use to them, but is detrimental to the cause of education and civilization, and will not be permitted in any school over which the government has any control or in which it has any interest whatever." And this is the President of the United States, President Grant, declared Indian children be required to attend school, and their barbarous dialect be blotted out and the English language substituted. As the result of these past policies of reprimanding Chickasaw students for speaking their own language in schools funded by the government, the younger generation is incapable of speaking their mother tongue. Therefore, the Chickasaw language endangerment is significant with the passing of each fluent Chickasaw language speaker. This is resulting in the younger generations no longer learning the language. The Chickasaw language is in danger of becoming extinct, just as species lacking productive diversity are being extinct. The Chickasaw language speaking people are very concerned that the loss of the mother language is endangering the associated culture and history, vital to the perpetuation of the culture through the youth and the future path that they may choose. The Creator gave the Chickasaw people special gifts. The most beautiful part He gave is our language. Our language is the most sacred to our people. To lose our language, what do we have left? We do not have a motherland to go back to. If we are to perpetuate our language, we must do it now by working cohesively. I have written a code of education which can provide the processes and the policies to incorporate the Chickasaw language, values, belief system, social structure, art, philosophy, law, culture, and ethics into every aspect of the educational system. Copies were given to the tribal legislature. When acted upon by the legislative branch, it will institutionalize the tribe's transmission of our language and culture through the educational process. The establishment of Mill Creek School Chickasaw Language Program provides an opportunity and challenge to develop the language, which will ensure the survival of the language. The intensity of the spirit and the way of life is viewed and expressed through the traditions within the language. The students will gain respect for the wisdom and teaching and become committed to the path of personal growth to its fullest extent for self-sufficiency. The Chickasaw Language Project being implemented at Mill Creek School is an enrichment program. In grades K through 3rd, the students were exposed to the Chickasaw language culture, traditions, and history through contents of stories, picture dictionary, hands-on activities, and dances. The objectives stressed to the students included greet others in the Chickasaw language, the beginning to reinforce the Chickasaw conversation and instill the values of sharing and respect for Chickasaw culture, and learning command words which made the students aware that these activities taught discipline, survival, and respect.
Very good. Well, let's connect this to your own personal life a little bit. Because Geraldine, you were talking about the order for all Indian children to be sent to schools and their languages to be stamped out. You, in fact, went to boarding school yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I was raised in a boarding school.
Which one did you go to?
Carter Seminary.
And did they attempt to stamp out your language in any way?
Well, not really that I can recall. A friend of mine, she and I went to school together all the way through school, and we spoke our language, but to ourselves, to each other, and I just imagine that that is the only way that I retained my Chickasaw language. I feel like that I missed out on a lot of good cultural training by not staying home and going to school. But I really do appreciate the boarding school for the education that I have today.
What was the best part of the experience there? Was it the discipline or the training? Or what was good about it?
Well, I guess it had to be everything. Because when I went home and when night time came, I was ready to go back to school and sleep in my own bed.
Well, it sounds like it wasn't entirely a bad experience.
It wasn't
You really
a
got
bad
something.
experience.
I think you had an easier time as far as your language than some of the children did at that time that I've heard about who had their mouths washed out with lye soap and all this.
Yes, I have had.
Or maybe you just got away with more by speaking
I
your
probably
language.
did. I probably got away with a lot by being, away from the crowd, and we just sat down
Right.
behind the building while we were playing paper dolls or playing jacks. We would, be talking our language, and it was neat. It was good. It just felt like, being with my brothers. And
Well, good. Tell us a little bit about how you first became sort of a student of the language when you were adult. You were telling me about a job you had at CHR. Was that
yes, Community Health Representative Director.
Was that when you first started going around and talking to people
Yes.
about the Chickasaw language?
Yes, and at that time, that was in 1969, I met Dr. Gibson, which was a history professor at the University of Oklahoma. And when I met him, we got to visiting, and I told him that I was a full-blood Chickasaw, and that I was fluent in my language. And he became interested in teaching me to do what I am doing now. And I'm so thankful that he took interest in me. And but I have always spoken my language. And he told me that while I was on the job visiting the families, if they would let me, to take a tape recorder and to tape them, and or write down the things that they said to me. And I did, or I tried, and when I I would ask them if I could tape them, and they would say I could. And I would just drive down the road at peace and stop and write down the things that they said on pieces of paper and or napkins or whatever I had. And at home I had a box, and I just throw it in there. And years later I went back and picked those out and put them together. And that's how I started my curriculum development. And the things that I was told, you won't find it in books, because it didn't come from the books.
Yeah.
It came from the Chickasaw people,
Very good.
which are very interesting.
Very good. So now you're involved in teaching Chickasaw and non-Chickasaw children here
Yes.
at Mill Creek
Yes.
School, and you're kind of reversing that old historical process.
Yes.
You're not trying
Yes.
to stamp out the English, but
No,
you're trying to bring the
no way.
Chickasaw back. I think that's wonderful.
I
And-
think that it helps them to think, when they know another language or when they are learning another language.
Yeah.
It stimulates their thinking.
Yes, I think so too, I really believe. Well, you've taught in so many different kinds of places now. I know you've been on committees and done research and developed programs, but you've taught what, at Murray State? for
Murray
some
State,
years?
I taught at Murray State for 9 years.
9 years.
Mhm.
And at the Tribe, I believe?
And I taught at tribal level.
And now here at Mill
And
Creek?
I taught, and yes.
Or where
and
else? Am I the
I
only
taught
one?
some at Ada High School,
Oh, in high school
Mhm.
data. Okay. And then
in the
here-
history department.
Oh.
And one of the English teachers, Miss Keeley, she and I wrote a proposal
Mhm.
to the school foundation, and we got it funded, and I got to teach a class there.
And now you end up here at Mill Creek, and you're
Yes.
teaching K through 8 and some high school.
Yes,
up to 12th
I do
grade as well.
team teaching with the high school.
Well, of all those different grades and levels and settings, what do you think your favorite would be, if you had a favorite?
Well, I don't think I really have a favorite. They are all very interesting, and I have learned a lot from them. When I came here, I was used to working with the high school group and the college and then adults, and this was a new step in
A little
this
bit of an
direction.
adjustment to work with
Yes,
the younger kids.
but
They're fun though, aren't they?
yes, they are. They really are, and I have learned so much from them.
Now, you were telling me you've only been here since October, haven't you?
The last week in October,
I can't believe the kids have learned that much already. They're very
I'm
impressive.
just amazed.
They learn quickly at that age, that's for sure. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to peeking in on as many of your classes as we can for the show.
I'd love to have
Thanks
you
again for being
anytime.
on Wordpath. We really
I'd
appreciate it.
love to have you come anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Halito. My name is Crystal Underwood, and today our 8th grade class is going to play a game. It's called Inka et Achi, which in English means Father Says. I will be calling out some of the classmates to give them to perform a command word, which I will give them. So first, let's go through the command words and review them. Mente.
Mente.
Means to come here. Hikaya. Hika.
Hikia.
Means to stand. Noah.
Noah.
Means to walk. Hika.
Hika.
Means to halt. Asachi.
Asachi.
Means to quit. Benili.
Benili.
Means to sit down. Impa.
Impa.
Means to eat. Nosi.
Nosi.
Means to sleep. Aya.
Aya.
Means to go. And Chokalisa
Chokalisa.
means to be quiet. And Melili
Malili.
means turn. Ochi
Ochi.
means to wake up. Now we'll play, if I say mente to someone, I want you to come up here. But remember, if I don't say Inka Achi, you can't mente because you didn't tell me the Inka Achi. Mark. Inka et mente Achi. Inka et ayam melili achi. Inka et aka. Ika achi.
No.
Inka et ayam melili achi. Inka et mente achi.
Daniel. Inki et mente achi. Inki et impa achi. Inki et aya benili achi. Krista. Inki et mente achi.
Jason. Mente.
I can't make you because you didn't say Inki or Ashi.
Inki et mente achi. Inki et benili achi. Inki et impa achi. Inki et Noah achi. Inki et Ochi achi. Shiri. Inki et mente achi. Inki et benili achi.
This is Mr. McGard's mixed high school class, and I have been team teaching with Mr. McGard in symbolic concept. And symbolic concept to the Native American Indians is anything that the tribe used to express or represent ideas or feelings and things that were important to them as they recorded them on the skins. And this is what we will be doing.
The Mill Creek High School environmental science class is studying the
different ways that cultures view the care of the environment. In our studies, we found that Native Americans had many legends which told of respect, conservation, and care of the earth. These legends were recorded by use of symbols written on animal skins. Our classes undertook a project in which we used paper sacks to represent the skins and then transcribe our stories using the Chickasaw symbols. First, to make the skin, you have to cut down the seam of the sack. Cut out the bottom. Now you close your sack. Finally, using our imagination, we cut out our own animals.
The dancer, boy and girl, danced around the campfire. Then the great spirit of the moon and stars made peace. Then the sun came up. Then the good snowstorm hit the Indian camp.
One sad day, the Indian camp gathered around the great fire and prepared for war as they played their drums. They fought all day and they fought all night. Finally, the next day, peace was found. And man was happy with man, and the Great Spirit was happy with man.
Got me a paperclip.
I forgot when I
There are desert hillsides where ancient Indian pottery still lies, half buried in the sand, and lizards blink at other dusty lizards that were painted on those pots 1,000 years ago. There's the picture if you want to look at it. Now, Indian children made a game of searching for bits of clay that were once somebody's bowl or mug or cooking pot or dipper. Their parents look at what they find and tell them, remember, treat it with respect. It is old. They say that every piece of clay is a piece of someone's life. They know that the molding of the clay has always been a slow and gentle work. So it's not something that you're supposed to hurriedly do. I mean, you take your time and you think as you're molding your clay. Think about what you want that to look like. And, you know, it's an artistic thing. It's slow. No hurrying, no rushing. Hands that shape the earth this way have time to know the cool touch of the sand.
Yeah, it's gonna be better. Nice day for us to take this trip down here.
Yes.
What do y'all want to say to your neighbors in Norman?
Hello.
Hey. What's your favorite animal? How do I ask him?
Buffalo. A horse.
How do you say it? Isabel.
Horse.
Horse.
What about coyote?
Yeah. Oh.
Janos.
Janos. Buffalo.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this week on Wordpath. Don't forget about our Boomer Sooner contest. Send your entries to Post Office Box 2872, Norman, Oklahoma 73070. Send us a tape and a written version and a translation of your version of the Boomer Sooner fight song in any Indian language of Oklahoma. There's a $25 prize. And we'll keep you posted on this in case the prize grows. See you next week on Wordpath.
Hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaoni kita.